Check out this sound to spice up your blues playing. How about this? And this? What did I do there? Let's learn some shit. One of the most powerful sounds in blues is called one diminished. What is one diminished? So if I'm in the key of C and I'm playing a blues, my one chord in blues is C7. Now in blues, that dominant chord doesn't act like a typical dominant chord in jazz. It doesn't pull you somewhere. It doesn't have a dominant function. It has a tonic function. It feels like home. Now a great way to suspend that sound is to use one diminished, meaning C diminished moving to C7. In fact, in blues, when moving to the one chord, you very rarely want to use the sound of a cadence to get there. You're not really using a 5-1 like G7 to C. You could, but it sounds a little strange once you start digging into the diminished substitutions of the 5 chord. This is a B diminished, which substitutes a G7 sound, moving to a C dominant. Listen to that. It's too classical music, right? It sounds nerdy. It doesn't sound badass. It's not blues. This sound, it's just not it. But if I use one diminished in place of that 7 diminished sound, it sounds like this. Oh yeah. Now that's what we're looking for. So let's just take a look at the theory of one diminished. What does it give me? Well, it has the root, the flat 3, the flat 5, and the double flat 7 that we call the 6. Those 3 notes are bluesy as fuck. Listen to it. So just pivoting from one major to one diminished and back sounds bluesy. And that's what we're looking for. Let's just try to learn how to move from a one chord triad to that one diminished in every inversion, just based on caged shapes. So here's my C caged. So that's pretty dope on its own. But now let's take a look at that diminished sound moving to a C7 to make it really sound bluesier. Now what have you noticed here? C, my root, stays in the same place. The other 3 voices simply move up a half step to resolve. Aha! So now the root is in the alto. Here's the next inversion of that thing. The root is in the tenor. It's staying. The other 3 move up a half step. Ooh. Here, the root is in the soprano. C is right here. The other 3 voices go up a half step. And here, C is in the bass. So if I could just see inside each of these diminished chords where C, the note C is, then I could just keep it there and move the rest of the voices a half step up and I'll get the inversions that I want. So let's run through that one more time quicker. Cool. So that gives me the ability to move to the one chord using this suspension. Why a suspension? Well, a suspension really feels like you're already home, but something about home is fucked up, like the couch is in the wrong place. And then you kind of move it back and it's, oh yeah, everything's right. So it delays the resolution. So if I have a 2-5-1, I can always have a 2-5 sus-1. So 2, 5, delaying that resolution to the C chord. So it's inside the harmonic territory of the one chord. Cool. So now I can add another element to it that is the 4 minor 6 chord. What is 4 minor 6? Well, in the key of C, 4 chord is F, 4 minor is F minor, 4 minor 6 is F minor 6. So why 4 minor 6? Well, I can use it just in place of my 4 chord. It works, and it also works in place of my 5 chord. It's a great substitution for G7 in the key of C. If I have a 2, 5, 1, I can use that F minor in place of that G to pull. But check out what happens when I string it together with my 1 and 1 diminished. Here's my 1 chord. 1 diminished. 4 minor 6. What did I do? I kept that C note, and then I just dropped the other voices a half step to diminished, and then from diminished another half step to 4 minor 6. So it's sort of like a typical blues thing when you do it descending. Red House is kind of like... just resolving to a C triad. Now I can do that in every inversion. Here's my C chord. Cool, but when I do it ascending, just reversing the orders of the chords, it's the Count Basie outro. I can do that anywhere, right? C triad. Pretty dope, right? I can go from here. So it's a super useful chord movement that will enhance your harmonic vocabulary. So you can always throw it at the turnaround of a blues, like 5, 4, and there we go. Another great tool that you can start exploring is going from 4 to 1 diminished back to 1. Now that happens naturally in every jazz blues on measure 5 and 6. If you read a chart, it always says F7, F sharp diminished, C. That 4 sharp 4 diminished 1. But check it out. It's really 4, 1 diminished. It's not really some kind of cadence from 4 to 1. It's what we call a plagal cadence, which is really a suspension of 1. So 4, 1 diminished. To my ear, you're already inside the sound of 1. It's just a weird 1. So you're going from 4. In measure 6, I'm already established inside that 1 diminished sound, and then I'm just waiting for that suspension to resolve. But here's a great voice leading trick to go along with it. The Wes Montgomery way of getting from 4 back to 1, like on measure 2 of the blues. You have 1. Come on, right? That's a great sound. What am I doing there? I'm just using some sort of F7 to C diminished to C7. But I can use a substitution for the F7, like this A minor 7 flat 5, to C diminished to A7. Does approximately the same thing. Now, if I do that in halftime, I have stuff to do over measure 5 and 6 of the blues as opposed to measure 2. What do I mean? Well, here's measure 1, 2. There are a lot of ways you can work that out on the guitar, but drop 2s is probably the best, most efficient, most useful way to practice on guitar. If I were you, what I would do is I would map out drop 2s in every string set, starting from the low one. So here's my C7, here's my C diminished, here's my C7 again. C7 with B flat in the bass. Locate C, drop everything else. Bring it back. Right? If I go up here, here's my C. Every string set. Right? If you just do that and are able to use that sound to create the tension that needs to resolve to your one chord, you are going to be able to enhance your blues playing tenfold just by throwing that sound in as opposed to normal cadences. So when I'm improvising, just vamping on one chord becomes so much more fun when you can use that kind of thing, that plagal sound, that sus sound, to get back home. If you dig this information, on our Patreon, we have a whole course on this subject with transcriptions, with notation, with tab. So please join us there. $5 a month gets you access to everything. And there are other tiers that include some monthly lessons with me with a group setting. So please check that out. Like the video, subscribe, do all the things, and we'll see you next time.